For me, being diagnosed was really a 2-year process. At the time I first noticed symptoms, I was about 27. I just turned 27, and I was going through a really exciting and there's a lot of change happening in my life at the moment. I just finished working as a lawyer and decided that I was going to have a career change. Basically, when I first noticed the symptoms, I probably ignored them for the first couple of days, but this continued for a number of weeks, and then I went and saw a doctor. I was quite concerned after it happened a number of times, and the doctor said to me, "Oh, look, you're quite young. It's probably nothing too serious. It's probably hemorrhoids, but I'll refer you to a specialist anyway who will give you a colonoscopy and just make sure." And so I received the referral and left the doctor and sort of put the referral away for a couple of days, and then thought, oh, I better get onto this, and ended up booking a referral. Because of circumstances and timing, I thought to myself, oh, look, the doctor said it's probably not cancer, it's probably nothing serious. So I stupidly made the decision to forego the colonoscopy. And so anyway, I went off to Germany, and my life progressed for a number of years, and the symptoms died away, and I kind of forgot about the symptoms that I was having, and until I came back to Australia, and I'd been working at a winery up in the Yarra Valley for a couple of months, and then moved down to Melbourne. And when I moved down to Melbourne, I was working still in the wine industry. I had a reoccurrence of the symptoms, and so I thought, okay, enough's enough. I better get along to see someone about this. So I went and saw the GP, received got the digital exam done, then was referred to the gastroenterologist, and at that point I went and had the colonoscopy and then was diagnosed. So that process was really about 2 years after I first noticed the symptoms. So in hindsight, I should have absolutely got onto it straight away, but I procrastinated for a couple of years, and that was probably one of the worst decisions I've ever made. When I was initially diagnosed, I was diagnosed with metastatic bowel cancer, which means that not only was it in the bowel, but it also spread to the liver. And they started me off with a bout of radiotherapy, and so that was radiotherapy to the pelvis region, to the guts, to shrink the tumour there. From memory, about 3 or so weeks of every weekday going in and having a dose of radiation. For the first couple of sessions, that was relatively painless. It didn't hurt at all. But then after a few sessions, you got incredibly bad sort of bowel cramping and diarrhea and bloating and all sorts of basically having an upset stomach for a period of about 3 or 4 weeks. So I had the radiotherapy and then a short period of chemotherapy, followed by 2 operations. And the first operation was to the bowel, which involved basically an incision from the middle of the rib cage to really into the sort of the your pubic sort of bone, and then partially removed the bowel, and then recovered from that for a number of weeks, and then had a liver operation, which basically removed half of the liver. Then following these 2 operations, I had more chemotherapy, and at that point I was declared to be free of any disease. So that was absolutely fantastic for me at that stage. Then a number of months later, about 6 months later, they found that the cancer had actually reappeared in my lungs. And at that point I was put on even more chemotherapy for quite a long period of time. And since then I've effectively been put on several different types of chemotherapy, and I'll be put on them for as long as they work. And then once they stop working, they'll try another combination or a different drug. And that experience has been absolutely terrible. The experience of actually being on the chemotherapy, but also, just knowing that you're at a stage where the cancer is inoperable because it had spread to both lungs, and that the chemotherapy that they were giving you was, chances are, it probably wasn't going to cure you, but it was just going to extend your life. The doctor that I've been consulting, the oncologist at Peter MacCallum, was able to put me in touch with someone inside their hospital who was running a trial, and that's an experimental drug. It's the first time it's been used in humans, and so I've been on that one now since October-ish last year, and since that point in time there's been no further spread of the disease. There's been no reduction either, but there's been no growth, which is the most important thing. So at the moment I'm actually quite hopeful about the future, as opposed to how I was around 6 or 9 months ago when everything else possible had stopped working. I guess I couldn't believe that it was happening. I couldn't believe that it was happening to me. I felt that I was too young for it to be happening to, and yeah, you know, that this was something that happens to old people. Both of my grandfathers died from cancer, so I'd always assumed that I would probably get cancer at some stage during my life, but I'd never thought that it would be at the age of 29. I would have to say that my age was most definitely a factor in not taking it more seriously when I first noticed the symptoms which I was having. And to be clear, the symptoms that I was receiving were some blood in stool when going to the bathroom, and some bloating of the abdomen, and feeling a bit gassy. And these weren't symptoms that occurred all of the time, constantly. These were things that would maybe pop up for a day or at most a week and then subside. One of the hard things is watching the rest of your friends get on with their lives and start to plan families and succeed in their careers and start businesses and do all of those kind of things that I thought that I would be doing. If you're in doubt, if you have any symptoms at all, if you think anything's wrong, get it checked out straight away. Don't sit on it for 2 years like I did, because if I looked into it straight away, it may have been as simple as literally just the colonoscopy and they could have taken out a polyp. But now, because of that waiting 2 years, the cancer had fully developed and spread to other parts of my body, and now it's been something that I've been dealing with on and off from 2009 till now. So if in doubt, get yourself checked out.